No. Yeah, well, not in second, third final we played in. So it's like standing on the field watching another team lift the trophy. Those are, I suppose, those are motivational moments you sports people take going forward. But Mike, I think you've got to understand, this is not a normal rugby team. You know? And I think we're naive. I think I made a note in my book. I think 19-0 up when they bring on RG Snyman. I mean, it's just a different league altogether. And I said it in my interview. I think that's why Leinster supporters are probably so disappointed, because they were waiting for that 40 minutes the whole year, and we just happened to get the 40 minutes that the Leinster supporters were waiting for the whole season. Couldn't get our hands on the ball. They defended us. They started well. You know, everyone talks about don't let them get a runaway start, and after 17 minutes, they're 19-0 up, and that's after you say don't let them start. I just again say to all the Irish, I don't think they sometimes give the credit to that Leinster team. They're well coached. They must say they're fantastic guys as well. I have not met many times, but I saw Josh van Vliet today. I mean, world class. World class as a person. So yeah, it's all credit to them. I can't praise them enough. I've said it to you many times since I started here at this level with URC, and they are the benchmark. And tonight they showed it again. We were never going to win that game when they got that 14-point start. Doesn't matter whether you think but the coach is now sounding. They're not. Once they get that start, I can't remember any team that's come back from 19-0 down and beaten them. So it isn't ideal. We've now got 3 silver. I think we've got to try and find out how you turn silver into gold now.
Yeah, Jake, you've spoken many times. Were you disappointed with the start that you made and the fact that you didn't really fire a shot in that first half?
We just weren't allowed to. It's easy for a coach to say, yeah, I'm disappointed, and we knew it was coming, but that just again shows the quality of Leinster. When we got a poor kick-off in the beginning of the game, kicked it out on the halfway line. Now, let me tell you, sometimes you kick a contestable, you defend for 15 phases, give a penalty away, and you're on your try line. We got a line out on the halfway line, as in gave it to them. Didn't give them good ball, got a scrum, and then got a scrum penalty against us. So, if I could have worked out the first 3 minutes, I would have said to you, give us a scrum on the halfway line, and I'll take that. Because I thought that would be a strength of ours, get a scrum penalty there and put them under the pressure by kicking in their corner. So, yeah, there's no use me saying to you, was I disappointed? They just didn't allow us to do it. And I've got to also say, they lose Gibson Park today, and it didn't even look like he wasn't on the field. What I meant is it just shows you how seamless having a 231 Leinster cap player come on the field.
Off the board then, Peter?
Jake, you mentioned, you sort of alluded to the scrum not going your way. What are you putting that down to today? Obviously Andrew Porter hasn't had the cleanest of records in terms of being scrum penalised. So what are you putting down the scrum?
What did you ask there? The scrum.
The scrum, yes, yeah. What are you putting the scrum difficulties down to?
Yeah, I don't know. When I say don't know, I credit to them. They probably targeted that area. Some of the things you have to do is you target the strength of certain teams, and they got it right today. Line out, scrum, things that people thought we would be really good at. They put us under pressure. But that's what international players do, And I think Porter played almost 70-something minutes, which again puts I suppose understands for me is that how important they put, an emphasis on that part of the game. So it's not like I can say, please don't get me wrong, I can't say to you, I don't know what happened. All I will say is that they targeted it and they got rewarded by it, and they got confidence out of that. And that's I suppose that's what every team wants, is you sometimes want to put teams under pressure where they're good. And if you get a reward, then that has a domino effect on everything else that they did, So I must say also, it'd be wrong of me not to say Jacques' defence was outstanding. We tried bashing their line in that. Last week, I sat in a press conference and I said to you guys that we won the game against the Sharks based on the last 5 minutes of defence before the half-time, and it wasn't the same because they had won the game when they were so far ahead of us. But the fact they kept us out just before half-time must have been a massive boost for them.
On that defence, sorry, the Bulls are famed for their physicality, particularly on the side of the world that everyone sort of raves about the Bulls' physicality. You never got over the game line really with your carries. A word on that?
Yeah, well, just a credit to Jacques and the defence. They didn't allow us to. Probably were a little bit one-off instead of running in numbers. We didn't have people around the ball to create pressure. And that's what happens when you're under, when you're under the pump against a good team. So of course I'm sitting here saying to you, geez, I mean, it's not ideal, but you've got to give credit where credit's due. And this is, out of the three finals, it's by far the toughest final we've had. And I make no bones about that. That was another level up. That was Test rugby. We turn the ball over, or they turn the ball over, and I look up, and I think there's space. And when I look, there's three of their players run back, and it's like everything's in fast forward. So that was even for the players. They saw a different intensity and tempo and organised picture than they've seen the whole season.
And then not to single anybody out, but you mentioned Test match rugby. You've got a 98 cap Springbok in Billy LaRue on the pitch. He didn't have his best game today. A couple of errors, that crossfield kick basically to James Lowe's breadbasket in his own 22. Was that a game plan that you wanted this crossfield kick so early?
No, we don't ever tell Billy what to do. It either works or it doesn't work. You know that, But I think he's got 98 tests. I think he's probably got 1/20th of what those Irish players have in terms of the numbers. Sometimes players, that's what happens when the pressure just comes from the front all the way to the back. I mean, we can't look at Billy and go, what happened there? I mean, it was very simple. Scrums, we got penalties away, lineouts, we got poor ball. Defensively, we couldn't carry through them. And I'm repeating, that's a quality Irish provincial team. It's a really quality provincial team. And I think Leinster public, I've been reading lots and listening to all these podcasts and shows, and the reason they're disappointed, they wanted to see that 40 minutes replicated every single Saturday against everybody. Because we were trying. It wasn't like we weren't trying.
Yes.
Thank you.
Going forward, we'll go to the guys online, and then we'll come back to the room.
Sorry, who's talking to me?
He's at the back there behind the
No, it's
line.
fine.
I was just going to say, going forward, I appreciate you just finished the match, but what's the biggest lesson you take away from here? You had 7 away wins from the season.
Yeah.
You've done things correctly all the way to here.
Even though it's straight off the game, the lesson I've taken from that is the one I've been telling you. We need more international players to play in our province. I need what Leinster have. I need to be able to fight fire with fire. And that's not going to change, guys. I mean, I'm going to ask you a question. Leinster, Toulouse, Leinster, La Rochelle. I mean, what do you think you need to win those games? Academy players or in-season internationals? I think the biggest cheer tonight was for Bowden Barrett. He's not Irish. So, I mean, please don't take it the wrong way. That's what I'd love to get. I'd love to be able to sit in a coach's box and 19-0 up, say, Erge, warm up, and then put him on and let him menace the defence and like he did tonight. Even though he's going to do it, he still does it. So it's irrelevant, asking me, because that has been from the day I took over this job. I keep banging the same drum, guys. I've coached the best players in the world. I've coached some of the best players in the world. In fact, I've coached players who've won Player of the Year twice. So I know what it's like to coach the best players in the world. And it doesn't matter how you look at it. If you're playing against 23 internationals, and I think today you guys you were short. You only had 22. I mean, there's a complete and utter difference. As I said, I watched that show the other night against the Head. McGrath, Byrne, two. They haven't been picked for any international now with the Lions in the summer tour. 3 internationals, 12 Irish players going on the summer tour, and 13 British and Irish Lions if you count Caelan Doris, who's injured. No, that's not a provincial team, guys. That's a phenomenal provincial team. That must be the best Leinster team. And again, I know it's going to be headlines because old players will say I'm not giving credit to, but that must be one of the best Leinster squads they've ever had. When I was sitting now, standing with Leo, and he told me when Kevin Putt played here, how Kevin used to say how amateurish Leinster were, drinking in the week. And I mean, fast forward now. I mean, now you guys are, I say it over and over, you're the benchmark of what clubs are trying to achieve. You've got international coaches, you've got foreigners that come in and they take your team to another level. I say it again, I'm envious, really envious, because if you're going to fight fire with fire and you want to go to a gunfight, you can't go with a knife.
You need to start bringing in foreign players.
Can we just do the live questions and do it? If that's all right, perfect, thanks. I'm just going to...
Simnigawat Vanessa online.
Sorry, are we going here now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can we have two questions from the Zoom, please?
Simnigawat Vanessa.
Yes, I can. Sorry, Sim.
During the week you said, just to take you back to the game, you said you were praying for rain.
Yes.
Was it help or anything?
Yeah, I was just praying for rain because I thought we'd have more stop-start rugby, and I thought, to be fair, we'd probably have more scrums. But in hindsight, thank God it didn't rain, because then we would have had even more scrums. So I just wanted to be, I mean, weather is a leveler. I mean, anyone who, it's the way it works. Weather is a leveler, and I thought that playing against such a international-laden team that's desperate to do well, that maybe the rain would have been a positive factor for us. So to answer your question, I don't think it made any difference today, but I was hoping that it would be pelting down.
And last one, obviously after 3 finals, which you haven't been able to get over the line, today was pretty certain that you were the underdogs anyway. After that though, where to for you and for the team?
Yeah, I'm going on I'm going on holiday. That's where I'm going. Players are joining the box, and the other guys will take some time off, and we'll worry about, as I said to them, there's no use talking about anything now, it's going to change anything. We'll worry about it when we get back and reassemble.
Brendan Nell, then Cobus Klassen.
Jake, hi, yes, I know this, don't take this the wrong way, but I mean, I've seen your been in your press conferences for the other finals. You seem a bit less gutted in this. Is that because just the quality of Leinster, and do you feel you're getting closer to where you need to be anyway?
I'm less gutted because I think people are so naive. I mean, I don't know what's changed, guys, from first year to now. I mean, we played Leinster and they lost 31-3 at Aviva Stadium. And what's changed? What do you think's changed for us? So we've got 4 years older, and believe it or not, they've got 4 years older. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not less gutted. I mean, I think obviously when you lose a final, but I'm also just completely and utterly realistic, and I'm more frustrated because I knew it's like watching a horror movie, and you think the ending is going to be different. I've coached the Brumbies to beat the British and Irish Lions. The way you do that is you actually need the big sides to play badly. So, dreamers are guys that think that you take youngsters and you just wave a wand and you beat international players. I mean, Mondays, a lot of those guys are assembling to play the British and Irish Lions. Do you think they didn't want Andy Farrell to have a look and see how they perform today? So all I can say, Brendan, I'm not taking it the wrong way at all. I think sometimes the problem is you guys take it the wrong way. You're in a dream world if you think that a club team that's made up of, I counted, we had 8 guys who weren't internationals finishing off the game. Now, I mean, how do you expect 8 non-international players who've just come into the club and they're playing provincial rugby to beat Ireland? So no, I'm not less gutted. Please don't. But I'm just more, I suppose, maybe more frustrated. Maybe I'm gonna, maybe I'm going to have to rethink about where we are as a group and what we can do. And I can only control the controllables. We can make guys a year older. That's also why I put all those guys on, Brent. I put every single guy on because I want them to learn what pressure is. 46,000 people baying for your blood, a team rampant, and I want them to be in that cauldron and feel what it feels like. I'm not going to protect them and put them in the stands because I want to make the score 25-14 and not 32-7. So yeah, I'm not, please don't get me wrong, I'm not less gutted. I'm just, nobody in this competition has played Leinster with their full strength team in a final since we've been playing. Nobody. So I'm sure every other coach that caught this team, any other team caught this team today in the URC would have exactly gone through what we went through today. Any other of those 15 teams.
Fair enough. Thanks, Jake. Travel safe.
Thank you.
Okay, go for it, Ashfaq, and then last one from Ronaldo.
Jack, I hear you, and as you say, you beat that drum about getting the box back to South African today. But do you still feel that perhaps there were opportunities today where you guys could have executed a bit better? You know, the one thing afterwards I think about implementing the game plan. The kicking game, sometimes kicks were just a bit too far. You know, I know it's pressure, but you guys didn't play at your best either.
No, Ashok, we didn't. And that's why I said to you, is that having coached the provincial team to beat an international team, it's not just always what you do. You need them also not to be on top of their game. And when they 19-0 up after 17 minutes, and let me tell you, it could have been more. I mean, I'm glad they respected us by not tapping and running every penalty either, because they went for poles a few times. And I take that as a massive compliment. But we weren't good, and I'm not for one minute going to sit here and tell you that's but that's what happens. The level of the time and space and the intensity of playing test rugby, I'm not giving you a lesson, but everyone knows that. The difference between school, club, provincial rugby and test rugby is the time and space becomes less and less and less, and your skill sets are under more and more pressure. And today, all that in 40 minutes was just quicker, bigger, stronger, tougher, everything that I think that happens in test rugby happened in that first 40 minutes for me. And credit to them, because they said they wanted to, I was talking to Leo before the game and I said, hopefully the rain comes, and he said, yeah, hopefully we're 15 points up, and he was right. They were 19 points up. No, it's fact. We probably needed more. I actually said to PRD, Andrea, I thought he refed quite well, so I can't, we can't, it's not even close. We were under the pump from the first minute. So, no, I don't necessarily think the officials. In fact, I tell you what I really was happy with, that penalty for Harold on McCarthy was a rugby thing and incident, and there was he handled that hell of a well. We've had situations where we would have got carded, or things would have happened. So I think the officials from the TMO right through to the ref, I'm happy the way they officiated today.
Hi Coach Jake, Ronaldo here. I don't want to keep you too long. I just have two questions for you. The first one, you mentioned earlier in the week that the team obviously exceeded your expectations at that time, and you wanted to make it obviously count tonight, which unfortunately didn't happen. But you also pointed out how Leinster are the benchmark with their depth and international experience, but they are not unbeatable. In light of tonight's performance, especially considering how crucial you said the senior players were in your campaign, do you think, or do you feel they delivered tonight in terms of the execution and what they were going to deliver on?
No, but I don't think it's just the senior players. I repeat myself, Ronaldo. Leinster put us under pressure. They targeted areas that we didn't think they were going to target. Well, didn't think that they could target, and they did it well. So that just has a domino effect from the front all the way to the back, you know. So we make mistakes. They kick the ball, we knock it on the halfway line, then we get a penalty for a scrum, and then all of a sudden we make another mistake on the other side of the field. So no, I don't blame it on any senior players, or we were outplayed tonight, and we were beaten by a side that I know that when they find their mojo, which they did tonight in that first 40 minutes, they're good enough to beat anybody. That side, as I said, that's the kind of side that would run out and play against all the big European clubs and beat them.